Well, Alex Stewart hopes that he has an opportunity to make some noise today against Evander Holyfield, as again it is quite a day of heavyweight fighting going on in Atlantic City. All started here at Resorts International with the heavyweight explosion. You have seen, of course, the explosion of Bone Crusher Smith coming up with a knockout in his fight earlier today over Kevin Ford. That happening in the 9th round. And, of course, the explosion by Corey Sanders as he had an opportunity to win and gets the knockout as Cooper says, no Moss, he is out of here. Well, some light heavyweights will be stepping into the ring and give you an opportunity to look at guys that are just outside of our heavyweight explosion. But Bryant Brannon comes in with a perfect 6-0 record against Nate Jackson, and they're ready to rumble here for 6 rounds.
6 rounds of boxing in the light heavyweight division. The referee is Brian O'Melia. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with white trim, weighing 177 pounds, from Trenton, New Jersey, undefeated as a professional with a record of 6-0, 3 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, Bryant Brannon. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the gold trunks with black letters, weighing in at 176 pounds, from Lexington, Kentucky, 9-1 as a professional with 5 KOs, introducing Nate Jackson.
To step into the referee is giving their final instructions. Our New Jersey rules, the 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Standing 8 count will also be in effect. Ringside doctor can stop the fight. 10-point must system with 3 judges scoring at ringside, and a fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. You're watching the heavyweight explosion from Atlantic City, New Jersey, and the light heavyweights. Bryant Brannon along with Nate Jackson. Jackson in the goal and Brannon in the red as they fight on here in a scheduled 6-rounder in light heavyweight division. Brannon again at 26, perfect record, tries to keep his record going, but Jackson comes in at 8-2 as far as the unofficial record is concerned. There was some suspect on the 8-2 mark, and it looked like it was a little lower than that, but it has been substantiated, and he's hoping to get a win here today. But Brannon comes right out in the red trunks and goes right to work in round 1.
Bryant Brannon, slick boxer, well known down here in Atlantic City, picked up his wins down here. Nate Jackson, I believe, is his first visit up here to AC's.
He's from Lexington, Kentucky. Both these fighters at 5'7.5". There's a looping right hand by Brannon, got in on Jackson. Jackson trying to counter coming off the ropes, but he caught a pretty good right-left combination that time thrown by Brannon. There you see Brannon go right back to rope against Jackson. Jackson not being able to get off the ropes in time.
Brannon slides to the side nicely and cuts off the ring on Nate Jackson.
Jackson comes back with a pretty good combination. A double left jab that time by Brannon, worked himself in. And there's a right hand thrown by Brannon.
Brannon, a nice looking fighter here. BB, as he likes to be referred to as.
Well, he's throwing big bombs right now. Brannon is, as he's throwing it in on Jackson. Jackson getting in all kinds of trouble when he gets himself trapped on the ropes because Brannon refused to let him off without taking a lot of punishment for Jackson. There you see a left hook that got over the top of the gloves.
Triple left hook by BB Brannon, and then he pivoted out to the side. A lot of nice skills here, Sam.
Well, I tell you what, he has got some quick fists as well for a light heavyweight. You see him try to lead with that left and load up with the right. And there he comes back. The left hook is definitely his best weapon, though.
He's got Nate Jackson in a complete defensive mode here.
Another combination by Brannon, working himself right in. Jackson trying to hold him off, but he's been unsuccessful here in round 1. And you see Brannon starting to stalk to the end of round number 1. He's had a very good first round as he'll take a rest and head for round 2. Almost a near perfect round by Bryant Brannon as he comes out and picks right up where he left off. Bryant from Trenton, New Jersey. Nate Jackson, his opponent, from Lexington. Both fighters are young. Jackson, the younger of the two, at 20. Brandon is 26. 177 pounds for Brandon. That's 80-3 in kilograms. 176, 79-8 in kilos for Jackson as they weighed in yesterday at the weigh-in at Resorts.
What a beautiful. You know who this Brandon reminds me of?
Whoa!
Oh, and we got the referee on the canvas.
Bryant O'Melia took quite a tumble, fell right on his left wrist and is shaking his wrist, so he's hurt. And the crowd got quite a rumble over that. Meanwhile, Brandon is trying to get the tension back here.
Sam, this Brandon reminds me very much of Jesse Boston, who fought earlier on the card. As a matter of fact, they've got to be related. Not only do they look a lot, they're both from Trenton, and same guy taught these two fighters how to fight.
Actually, Jesse Boston just went in and changed trunks. He's out here again. Double payday today, huh? Just kidding, folks. Bryant Brannon again is the man in there from Trenton. And he has had the upper hand here through the first 2 rounds. Every time Jackson gets inside and tries to throw some combinations, Brandon starts backing him up with a left-right combinations of his own. Jackson tries to work himself back in, and Brandon backs him up again. So it is a never-ending cycle that is right now top-heavy for Bryant Brannon in the red. Now Jackson has had maybe his best exchange out of the corner and gets a reward of 1 from Brandon.
I just talked to Jesse Boston, and absolutely, that is his brother.
It is his brother?
And you can see the similarities between the two fighters.
Uppercut by Brandon. There's a good combination by Brandon. Boy, Jackson, how much punishment can he take today?
This Jackson's a tough kid, but he's overmatched here tonight, Sam.
Digging combinations by Bryant Brannon. I mean, I don't think he's thrown a punch, Bob, that didn't at least get close to landing.
Or didn't set up the next punch that was going to land. I mean, he's... And Nate Jackson is dead game, but he's going to earn his money here tonight.
Brannon just relentless in his pursuit of Jackson. If Jackson got off first any time during this fight, I don't remember it. We're in the 2nd round.
And look at the pressure that Brandon is putting on this guy. He reminds me of a young Dwight Quawee, the Camden buzzsaw.
He'd like to finish it early as they close in on the final seconds of round number 2, and Brandon still throwing punches. Number 3, can he turn it around? No, not as long as Bryant Brannon continues to come out of the corner like a buzzsaw right at him. Well, you can take rounds 1 and 2, just carbon copy them, and we'll just play them back. We don't even have to call the next rounds. This may be the most aggressive Jackson has been able to be, and look how quickly Brandon takes it right away from him.
Yeah, this Bryant Brannon, he's something to watch. It's fun. You could get a guy like this, find him on the undercard and follow him throughout his career. He never would have been on if Corey Sanders hadn't accommodated him with his disposal of Smoke and Bert Cooper. And this Nate Jackson, I mean, you know, the only one of his losses I noticed was to Adolfo Washington early in his first professional fight. Adolfo, who we've seen, is a world-class fighter, but he's just overmatched with this guy, and he's dead game. Brandon's corner telling him do whatever you want, when you want, and that's just what he's doing here, Sam. And he takes a step back, gets reset, and opens up. Also using the elbows and the forearms very nicely to keep Jackson in the corner. Mouthpiece of Jackson came out there. Now he's got to hope for a break in the action.
And a combination. And now they're going to take a timeout here to put it mouthpiece back in.
They ought to consider.
Most of the time that comes on a situation where you definitely have a total break in the action. That was not a total break, as Brandon was right on top of Jackson again, but that was about as slow as the fight might have gotten.
Jackson's at least trying to shorten up the distance on Brandon here rather than let him pot shot him from the outside. He's trying here, Sam. He's just overmatched against BB Brandon.
Bone Crusher Smith scores a knockout over Kevin Ford in the 9th round. Our main event goes to the 3rd. Corey Sanders forces Bert Cooper to retire. He said, "No more, I quit." And now they fight on with the light heavyweights in Bryant Brannon and Nate Jackson on our heavyweight explosion.
Nate Jackson's moving back and forth from southpaw to orthodox, trying to show Bryant Brannon a different look. Everything he shows him, Brandon's got an answer for it.
Of course, one thing that Brandon does not want to do, he doesn't want to be in there close and tied up. He said, I got some more punches to throw. Get out of here.
But he can fight on the inside too,
yeah.
Sam. He can fight coming in and going backwards, and he is perpetual motion. This guy will not let you rest.
Boy, that left hook, if he's from Camden, that comes from somewhere in Philadelphia. I mean, to tell you, he winds it up and lets you know about it, doesn't he?
Oh, and Nate Jackson certainly earning his 6th-round money here tonight, Sam.
Combination thrown by Brannon. He refuses to get trapped on the rope himself.
Yeah, he doesn't want to wrestle in there, although he looks like he could.
So they battled on through the end of 3 rounds here in Atlantic City.
You know what I'm saying? Your right hand off your right uppercut, your left hook off your left uppercut, and come back with a straight hand with it.
Well, we may see a lot of uppercuts coming from that corner. From the other corner, Nate Jackson, who's been taking a majority of the punishment today, will have to watch out for those punches as they get ready to answer the bell in round 4.
Bryant Brannon's letting him know, too, hey, I'm ready to get busy right here. I don't want no rest even in between rounds.
Pretty good shutout thrown by Bryant Brannon, the young man in the red. From Trenton, New Jersey, 26-year-old with a perfect 6-0 record, and I think we can see why, Bob. Amateur record of 36-3, a 3-time Golden Glove champion in the New Jersey, Philadelphia area, and a very good one, and you can see why. Very, very busy fighter.
Nate Jackson employing a good defense here to prevent from really getting hurt by this B.B. Brannon, Sam. He's not doing much on the offensive side. He's kind of just settled back into trying to survive with this guy.
Well, that was the beginning of the first uppercut. You saw him as it just came off the break. Brannon threw the uppercut. Let's see when they get inside if he tries to throw a little more of that, because that was called for from the corner. The uppercut, and then follow it with an angle either left or right.
B.B. Brannon's talking to Nate Jackson here in the fight. Jackson, to his credit's answering back, trying to get busy on the inside.
Jackson had a rather noteworthy amateur career as well, winning 40 of his 50 fights. Was a 4-time regional Golden Glove champion himself down in the Kentucky area. But right now he is in there against a guy that has had his upper hand with him today. Well, if we had a punch-o-meter today, that sucker would be running out of tape, because these guys are throwing some leather.
This B.B. Brannon is perpetual motion, and it's not like he's slapping either, Sam. He's got something on every one of those.
Good weight transfer. Watch the way he comes off of the right foot, kind of transfers it right onto the left and right straight through.
Excellent balance. Jackson trying to talk back to him, but he'd be better off saving that oxygen.
An uppercut by Brannon, then spins out of the corner. Brian O'Melia breaking him up, wanting to break on his instruction off of the break, which apparently Brannon did not, and he got a warning there from the referee. Jackson can only wish that Brannon would get more warnings for doing something wrong, because he's done nothing wrong today, that's for sure.
Warning him about low blows, but I think that's got more to do with the fact that Jackson's trunks have fallen down than Brannon hitting him low.
They are just a shade below what you might classify as hip huggers right now. And of course the waist belt is clearly showing underneath or over those gold trunks worn by Jackson. Closing seconds of the 4th round. Division to go 6 rounds, and we're moving towards round number 5. Bryant Brannon pretty much throwing the shutout right now in the red. Nate Jackson's corner encouraging him, if he has some dirty tactics inside, get dirty right back. Which means, of course, the elbows, the pushing, the shoving, and whatever Brannon might be getting away with right now. Jackson has been close enough to hit him, but most of the time he's the one being hit.
B.B. Brannon treating the fans here tonight. He's shown about every punch in the arsenal book.
A wicked combination set up with the left hook. There you see it again. The left hook, and then follows it with a straight right hand, and it's got some power behind it.
Nate Jackson definitely came here to fight today, Sam. There's no disrespect for him involved. He came up here in good condition. If he wasn't in some kind of condition, he wouldn't be here now.
Certainly didn't bring a glass jaw into this fight, because he has taken some major league shots, and there's another one.
Probably not too many light heavyweights that BB Brannon fights that are the same height as he is. Same low center of gravity.
If you diagrammed a fight and you wanted to say, here's the way I want you to do things, you would probably go back and look at this tape, Bob, because Brannon has indeed, as they say out in the truck, has been definitely right on the money today. Everything he's done has been almost picture perfect.
Sometimes it's just having the perfect opponent to show out on, you know, a guy that you're just a little bit quicker, a little bit stronger, and a little bit slicker. But he certainly covered all those bases here. And look at the assortment of punches he's using here, Sam. Really impressive. He's walking right to Nate Jackson.
Closing 1 minute of round number 5. There's a big right hand over the top again, thrown by Brannon. Jackson has taken all of this, and now they continue to talk to each other off the break. Jackson trying to talk a little more with his fist. He is desperately down on the cards. Knows that he's got to make a big return if he hopes to get back in this thing.
I've even stopped scoring this fight, Sam.
Why waste the ink right now, huh? It is definitely a shutout with 10-9 rounds across the board for Brannon. And the way he's fighting, there would not be any ideas that that might change anytime soon.
But a dead game, Nate Jackson continues to stand in the line of fire of BB Brannon and give BB the opportunity to really show up.
So as round 5 ends the way most of the others have, it's Brannon on top of Jackson. Round, if it's anything like the first 5 have been, Jackson's in for another tough round as Bryant Brannon has had all that he could dish out here against Jackson today. Combinations have been landing. He's been setting up virtually every punch that he's thrown, and Jackson almost helpless as he gets himself trapped on the ropes. This is round 6 of a scheduled 6-rounder, and here comes Brannon. Has he not come across the ring and thrown that combination in this fight yet, Bob, to start every round?
He's having fun out here, Sam. His corner man just told him he ain't ready for this kind of work, and I got to give Nate Jackson credit for absorbing this punishment from Bryant BB Brannon.
By the way, you might want to write that down on your scorecard. Brannon, look at the combination still throwing in the 6th round. 177-pounder, light heavyweight, and this man will be someone to contend with if he continues to fight this way. No matter what the opponent might have been on the other side, he would have had himself a very good fight today.
And he enjoys his work, Sam. That's one thing about BB Brannon. He likes what he's doing for a living. He's out there having fun.
Let's break clean.
Got to get the feeling also that he brought his lunch pail today, as he's putting in a full day's work in this fight. From the opening bell, as you see him right here.
It came together there a little bit. It'd be unfortunate for one of these guys to be cut at this stage of the fight when they've absorbed these. Jackson's absorbed this brutal beating by BB Brannon here in this fight. And I know all he wants to do is go the distance here, and he certainly could be proud of himself if he's successful in doing that.
Jackson, you could see how he took another solid combination from Brannon on the ropes. Look how nicely Brannon goes downstairs and then comes right back upstairs. The left hook to the body, the right hook to the head.
No rest for the weary with this guy, Sam. He will not let you rest.
Straight right hand gets in on Jackson.
Jackson tries to hold, and he ducks his head under there and gets out of it. Back to answer some more.
Jackson would just as soon find a place to hide for the remainder of this fight, that's for sure. And he's going to try to do it backpedaling on a bicycle. No reason to believe it should go any other way than Brandon getting his
the
seventh.
referee stepped in and got clipped again by B.B. Brandon. He's beating up everybody in the ring, Sam.
That's right. Referee O'Melia has already gone down. He fell earlier in the fight. Matter of fact, he has a little swelling on the top of his left wrist. I think he might have hurt his hand when he fell.
Yeah, he ripped that surgical glove.
Here's Brandon. He's ripping everything to Jackson. You can just look at the face of Jackson. He's going, oh, man, how long is this round?
Quick feet by Brandon. Quick hands. Punches with bad intentions. It's a heck of a combination. And Jackson is finally wilting from this pressure.
Well, if there's anything slow about the fight, it has only been in the last few seconds, and Brandon tries to pick up the tempo for the final seconds of the 6th and final round. So as the two fighters once again exchange their show of sportsmanship, and they do it again over in the corner. Bryant Brannon has done everything he needed to do today. A very impressive performance by this light heavyweight from Trenton, New Jersey. Bob, you got to figure he's going to be around a while. This kid put on quite a show today.
Yeah, he's an awesome-looking prospect, Sam. I know his manager's happy.
Yeah, you can see the shoulders on him. You can see just a tremendous athlete as he comes bouncing out. It looks like he could go another 4 or 5 round again. And he goes across. Let's look at him working in that final round. And this, you could almost go to round 1. This would be the same way he worked.
Perpetual motion.
Never quit. Jackson didn't either, though. That's a good sign.
Oh, there'll be no other days for Nate Jackson. He's got a lot of heart.
But it was not today, as Brandon, there's the dig to the body. Now watch as he comes out. There's the uppercut, and then he goes right back upstairs. That is picture-perfect boxing from Bryant Brannon.
Everything coming in 3s and 4s.
I think you made a good point, though. You almost have to have a fighter's style that fits what you're trying to do. And I guess Jackson happened to be, as we say, picture perfect for him as well. Let's get the official decision. Let's go upstairs. Here's Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Resorts, we go to the scorecards. All 3 judges, Gene Williams, Vinny Ranoni, and Joseph Pasquale, scored about the same, 60-53, for the winner by unanimous decision, Bryant Brannon.
Well, as they say in the boxing vernacular, that is a shutout, as he goes with a perfect 60-53 on the cards and gets a unanimous decision win, as we are continuing with our heavyweight explosion here from Resorts International in Atlantic City.